Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Mean here. Today we're going to continue our quest to show you different builds for our teammates that will be joining you. For those of you that are playing the console version of this game, this is a modded version, so be aware of that. Doesn't mean there's not stuff you can learn from here, and most of the tricks that I use are available for those of you that are trying to play this game with the unmodded version. There's a few things that will be sticking out. Again, the fact that I'll be using traits will be a fine example. Of course, the fact that I'm forced leveling the character with Bag of Tricks is another thing that you can't do. But that's just so I can show you what the finished build looks like. But by and large, it's the Eldritch Arcana that's the difference here. Other than that, everything else more or less is going to be the same. So let's actually get into it, shall we? So this is Amiri. She's actually one of your better starting characters in my opinion, and the reason I say that is because Amiri has a decent point spread for where she needs to be for her physical and mental stats. She has a 16 strength, 13 dex, 16 con, 10 intelligence and charisma, and a 12 for wisdom. So for the character themselves, they're actually pretty well balanced for what she needs to be, which is a barbarian. The reason that she has or the good news is because she has the odd stat in dexterity, which means we can take the 5 points that you'll give her from level 4, 8, 12, 16, and finally 20, and put one of them at least in dexterity, bringing it up to an even number. That's a bang for your buck. That's a solid upgrade. Now the question is when to give her that. I'm going to do it at first level 4. But that's on you. If you want to make her a strength damage dealer, which is what she's going to be, go all in on strength and save the dexterity bonus till the end. That's fine, I suppose, too. But I would do it either at level 4, or at level 12, or at level 20. Your choice. I'm just going to go at level 4. Notice that the 4 stats they increase for her, she gets 4 skill points, 1 for being human and 3 for being barbarian. They have invested in athletics, lore nature, mobility, and perception. And the only other thing that didn't get a point that she has class skill in is persuasion. And she's not a persuasive character. I suppose if you're doing a build where she's trying to intimidate people, which she could totally do, this would be something else to invest in. I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to keep it to the 4 that she has. That will help expedite this video so it's not a 2-hour extravaganza. Notice that she also has skill in bastard swords, weapon proficiency, I should say, in bastard swords. That's so that she can use this ginormous bastard sword. This was a quest item that she starts off the game with, and you learn more about it as the game progresses. That doesn't mean you have to use this weapon, or bastard swords at all for that matter. So, use it until you get a better weapon. Use a better weapon from that point on, I suggest. Up to you. But if you want to keep with that, it does get better in the game because of her story arcs, but it will take forever to get better. So I recommend that you give her something decent. I'll recommend something to you once we get to that point. Other than that, though, she also has toughness. Again, she's human, so she gets 2 feats, and these are all baked into her before you even get her, obviously. As a barbarian, she's going to have not only a feat at every odd level, like any other human or any other character, for that matter. She also gets one at every even level in these rage powers. These are specific to a barbarian. It makes her very tough, gives her a lot of different options, and again, we'll go through what I'm going to make for her versus what you can make with her. She has some other stuff as well, like some damage reduction eventually shows up, so she's tougher. She gets uncanny dodge and improved uncanny dodge. These are amazing for especially a dex-based character. Prevents you from being flanked and flat-footed. If you have both of them, these are staples for anyone that's a dex-based character. Trust me, when you know what these do for you, you know you want them. She also is extremely zippy. As you can see, she's already at level 1, 40 feet around, versus, say, someone like Harem, who's 20. This is one of the reasons that she dies a lot early in the game. And I say that if you're not using turn-based combat and controlling her movements. If you just let her and the whole team just cluster pile onto the bad guys, she runs so much farther ahead of everybody else that she's up in the front ranks getting wailed on before anyone else has a chance to even get to her. And that's a problem. So if you're doing real time with pause, you'll notice that she dies a lot. If you switch it to turn-based combat and control her movements precisely, you can actually alleviate a lot of those problems, in my opinion. So let's level her up. Again, we're going to go straight generic barbarian all the way 20. The skill points are always going to be the same 4. Athletics, mobility, lore, nature, perception. And thematically speaking, these make sense. She's an athletic character, strength-based character. Mobility, I guess, I don't know. Lore, nature, she's in the wild all the time, skinning animals and all that jazz. Makes sense. And she has to perceive stuff, so perception. So it makes sense that those are the 4 that we're going to always upgrade for her. For rage power, notice I'm going to activate the show unavailable first, just so you can see the laundry list of shit that you can pick from eventually. Notice that these are going to have prerequisites. So, for example, greater beast totem requires that you be a certain barbarian level and, of course, have beast totem before it. Notice that beast totem requires that you have lesser beast totem and be, again, another barbarian level, 6 minimum. before you can pick it. I'm not going to grab any of those. They're weird to me. Basically, if you want to make a saber-tooth slash Wolverine type barbarian character, Animal Fury and your beast totems are a solid choice. You basically get a bite attack and some claw attacks and some other pouncing abilities and some other cool shit. But basically, you just start mauling people with your fingernails. It's not really neat. Notice that we have 3 different stances: guarded stance, lethal stance, and reckless stance. Those are important. Those are run while you're raging. Guarded stance, like it sounds, gives you extra armor. Reckless stance, like it sounds, will do more attacks, a better attack bonus, but a penalty to your armor, which sounds like a bad idea. Lethal stance is nothing more than just an attack bonus, but notice it's only for melee and thrown weapons. Why do I say only? Because reckless stance, as you can see, is a +1 to your attack rolls, period. That means if she's using a crossbow or a composite longbow, reckless stance allows her to shoot better. It takes a penalty to her arm class, but so what? She's at distance. What does she give a shit? And again, you can see the appeal then for some of these different stances depending on how you want to build it. Are you making a turtle, someone that's going to go up front and just take a beating? She can do that better than even Harem, with stuff like guarded stance and all these damage reductions that she's going to get besides. Just kid her out with a sword and board if she can use a shield. And a one-handed weapon, just switch her to that, and she'll go up and just take a beating like no one's business. If you want her to straight up do damage, reckless stance is amazing. Sets up a variety of other things that were required for you to pick reckless stance to unlock. Highly recommend that you do that if you want to be like the crazy berserker barbarian. I'm going to go lethal stance and only lethal stance. And yes, you can get all 3, but you can't have all 3 running at the same time. You only get to pick one running whenever. So again, you could do lethal and guarded when you need to, or you can do reckless and guarded when you need to. Up to you. But lethal stance is a solid upgrade for me, and I want it because it's also going to give me things like deadly accuracy, needs lethal stance, and then I'm going to grab lethal accuracy, which requires deadly accuracy, which again requires lethal stance. So I'm building on the character in a specific way. Okay, that's why I say look at those ahead of time, get a feel for how you're going to make your character. Keep going. Barbarian, always the same 4. Now, what kind of upgrades are we going to get up here? Well, first, I highly recommend you pick a weapon. Power attack is another option. We're going to get that too, but it is a penalty to your swing. Now, of course, she can suck up a penalty to her swing better than most because, like a barbarian and like a fighter, every level is a base attack bonus upgrade. So by level 20, she'll be a 20 BAB. So right now she's at 3. So taking a -1 to the swing to get a +2 or +3 to the damage, more on that later, is a solid upgrade. There's nothing wrong with that. If you need damage early, this is the way to go. I prefer to hit things first, so I do weapon focus first. Now you may say, go Bastard Sword, because she has a Bastard Sword. And why not get a better swing with that Bastard Sword? And again, that's a viable option. And there's a few other Bastard Swords in the game that are worthy of note. But I highly recommend you consider things like Bardiche, or a glaive, or a long spear. Those are all reach weapons that are 2-handers. Not spear, not short spear, because those are one-handed weapons and have a very close range. So you want literally long weapons, like long spear. You want glaive. You want Bardiche. They have a long reach, 6-foot reach. If that's not your cup of tea, and again, it's not everybody's, and that's fine, I will recommend that you grab Great Axe. It's a 2-hander still. 2-handed weapons are key, extra damage for you. So it's a solid choice for you. There's plenty of Great Axes in the game. That's the other real reason. Again, I know this, so it's kind of cheating that I know this, but you find this out in like chapter 2, which would be right around here. Level 5, level 6, level 7. If you're really diligent about finding it, you could really get it by level 5 pretty damn easy. And again, it's a solid upgrade. You'll be looking at it going, hey, that's a pretty good weapon. We should give that to someone. And Amiri is the obvious choice. So if she's going to be the one that carries the Great Axe, and that's a decent one, not amazing, but a decent one at the beginning, might as well just give it to her and make sure that she's got skill in it. So I do weapon focus Great Axe. And at Oleg's, you can probably buy a Masterwork Great Axe for like $400. Totally worth it. It's a +1 to her swing as well. So again, with a weapon focus and then the Masterwork Great Axe, she's got a solid swing early on. She has damage, so you don't really need to worry about the fact that it's not magic or that you're not using a better weapon, because she will have damage because it's a 2-hander. So again, highly recommend you get weapon focus Great Axe, or whatever weapon that you want to specialize in, if you will. Keep going Barbarian. Now, 1.1 only into Dex. Just to get it up there, it's a bonus to your mobility, it's a bonus to your armor, bonus to your reflexes. You will appreciate it, in my opinion, earlier than later. 4 points where they always belong, and now every other point from this point on going to strength. Now, notice Deadly actually is waiting for us. Might as well take it. level 4 as soon as we can get it. We need a lethal stance, again, to grab it. Notice what this one does. Just increases your chance to crit. What does that mean? When you crit, what usually happens, well, what always happens is you hit the target first. Let's say you roll a nat 20. A great axe requires a nat 20 for you to hit the target and crit it. So you hit them, that's guaranteed. The second part is, did you confirm the crit? That's what they're talking about here in this pop-up here. So when you confirm the crit. So basically what happens is you roll twice. You hit him once, and then you roll to see if you hit him a second time. And if you would have hit him the second time, then it actually crits. Now, why is that important? Well, a crit for a great axe is 3 times the damage of the normal hit. So if you would have done 10, now you did 30. You see the appeal. A crit's like damn near guaranteed fight over for most bad guys. And again, she's going to specialize in hitting hard. She's our DPS, frontline DPS toon. So Deadly Accuracy is a solid upgrade. Again, all it does is when lethal stance is on and she's raging, she'll have a better chance to crit with any weapon that she's wielding. Going Barbarian. Always the same 4. Now, what do we grab from here? Power attack's looking sexy. And again, yes, she'll be at a penalty. But remember, we just gave her a bonus. As long as she has that great axe in her hand, she's got a solid swing and a solid penalty and better damage. Now, notice something. 2 things about power attack. You get a -1 and a +2 to your melee damage. So -1 to your swing, bonus for your damage. So harder to hit, but when you do, you'll hit for harder. Right? Look at this next paragraph. If it's a 2-handed weapon or a 1-handed weapon that you can wield with 2 hands, meaning you don't have a sword and a board, you have just like a long sword and that's it, or even just a rapier, you'll hit with 50% more damage. So instead of being a +2, it'll be a +3. She has 2-handed weapons. The ginormous bastard she has is a 2-handed weapon. The great axe that I just gave her as a weapon focus is a 2-handed weapon. So instead of it being -1 +2, it'll be a -1 +3. When it goes up to -2, which again it scales as she has more BAB, it goes from -1 to -2. It'll be +6. See that? So again, more damage. Now, again, you may say, well, but now I got all these penalties to my swing. Aha! Remember that lethal stance that we grabbed way the fuck back here? Look at this little bastard. It's a +1 to your swing, a melee weapon swing, and it increases at the same pace that power attack increases. So for every -1 for power attack, you have a +1 here. So it counters. It'll be a +6 and a -6 by the end of your build. And that's going to be, instead of a +12 to your damage, because it's a 2-hander, it'll be a +18 damage by level 20. That's a solid swing with a 2-handed weapon. And it doesn't matter what 2-handed weapon it is, it's +18 damage. That's amazing. And again, we've neutered the penalty with lethal stance. That's why we went that route. One Barbarian. Always the same 4. Now, ignore the stances because I'm not going to want more than 1. You can do that if you want to, but I'm not going to. Now our choices then are these 2. Self-heal, once a day only, or once a rest, I should say only. And it's lame based on your con modifier, so it gets 1d8 plus your con, which right now is probably +3, so it'd be 4 to 11. Still helpful. It's just once a day, but again, it can save you in a pinch. If you're playing a low campaign, like a low magic campaign, where you've decided, I'm not taking any of the healers, because I'm an idiot. And I'm going to take all fighters, and all barbarians, and all whatever. I've done it before too. This is okay for that, because again, sometimes you just need a spot heal. You don't have a potion handy or whatever. You want to save on the potions, and one of these uses a day, it replenishes itself. Why not use this before you use the potion? Chug, use this. But it's kind of lame. It does get better over time, 5d8 by the end of it, but again, it's still one of those where it's kind of lame. I'd rather be zippy. When you be saying, who gives a shit? You're already moving at 40, why move at 50? Well, let me explain why. Say these are the bad guys coming from the front. This is Amiri and Harem, the 2 people we have that are my frontliners right now. They're up front, guarding my 2 squishies back here. Okay, me and Lindsay, the bard. We're going to shoot them with spells and arrows and all that fun shit in the back. These guys are going to keep them off of us, basically, right? Well, this game's not going to just funnel everybody down a tunnel. They're going to come from the side, they're going to come from the back, teleport in on your ass, and again, what happens then? Well, I got my squishy toons back here. I don't want to die. Send Amiri. Don't send Harem. His ass is fucking slow. Guess who's zippy? Little Miss Swiftfoot here, just zipping all over the goddamn place. So she can go from here to here and basically catch the back rank before they even get on your soft guys, if you're paying attention. Again, turn-based combat's amazing for this. Solid choice then, to get her faster. And again, it works when she's raging, I believe. So, and she's almost always raging. So, solid upgrade. Keep going. Always the same 4. Now, what to grab here? Now we're going to have some fun. We have our weapon. We have a power attack. We're hitting hard. Got extra HP. We have Bastard Sword if we really want to, but by and large, I still maintain that the Great Axe is the way to go for me. What are we going to do with that Great Axe? I'm going to start cleaving bad guys. What does cleave do? It's a clickable ability where I take my entire attack turn. Instead of swinging multiple times on one guy, I'm going to take one swing at one guy. If I hit that one guy, I swing at someone else within range. Now remember when I said the Bardiche, the Glaive, the Long Spear, and again, because they had range, 6-foot range to be precise, they reach really far. This is why you'd want those weapons instead of, say, the Great Axe or the Bastard Sword that she has, because those only have a 2-foot range. There's a way around that. Make your character bigger with, say, an enlarged spell, and she will suddenly have a much better reach. But you get them grouped up on you and harem, she'll still be able to cleave one guy into another guy, and that's still okay. And while this is not amazing, you need it to grab some of these other feats that are coming our way. Trust me, there's a lot. But notice we're getting some damage reduction as well. Again, it steadily gets better, and we can make it better as well, which we will do. Going Barbarian. Now it's strength always. Always the same 4. Now, ignore. I can grab this one. I can get internal fortitude. I can get all these other ones. And again, the other stance, which I'm going to ignore as well. Now, why do I want internal fortitude? I'm immune. Remember, if you've seen any of my other videos, immunity is power. We're immune to being sickened and nauseated. Nauseated alone is a powerful one because we have the ability with a wizard, a sorcerer, or a magus, for example. They have the ability to cast a spell called Stinking Cloud. It's AoE, stationary, and again, anyone does a fortitude save when they get in it against poison. If they fail it, they're nauseated. What does nauseated do? It means they're retching their guts out. They will not attack. They can defend themselves. They're not helpless, but they will not attack you. So, she's immune to that now. So imagine she's up front by herself, holding the front line. You cast Stinking Cloud on top of her ass. The bad guys rush her. They start puking their guts out, and she just beats the shit out of them. You see the appeal? Any immunity in this game can be exploited for some serious fun. Always look for something that gives you immunity. Heavily suggest that you take that. Go Barbarian. Same 4 always. Now, notice cleaving finishes the thumbs up. There's another one on this list that you want to grab too, but we're going to grab that one first. Great Cleave is another one that we're going to get. And then we're not done there. This one is if you kill a target, you don't even have to activate that cleave move. Remember, that's a clickable. If you just straight up melee kill somebody, if someone's within range, you will swing at that next opponent. Only once. But we're going to make that better before too long too. Keep going Barbarian. Always the same 4. Rage power. Ignore. Maybe. Ignore. Heal. Swiftfoot. You want to be faster? You want to be tougher? I know me. I'd rather be tougher. Barbarian. Always the same 4. Now. Where was that Great Cleave at? Bango bango. Now what does this one do? If you're standing in a circle of bad guys, Cleave allows you to hit one guy. If you hit him, then you swing and hit another guy, and then you're done. So 2 guys. Great Cleaves allow you to keep hitting until you miss, or run out of bad guys. So if I hit, let's say I got 5 guys around me in a circle. I hit the first guy, I hit the next guy. I hit the next guy, and then I miss the next guy, and then I'm done. If I hit, and just keep hitting until I finish hitting new targets, I can hit 5 dudes in one swing. That's what Great Cleave does. Again, not amazing, but a solid choice, and we need it for the last one, which is coming up at level 13. Notice, by the way, we got greater rage, we got a better bonus to our swing, and our will saves, and blah, 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 blah. That steadily gets better. Strength. Now we got a solid bonus to our swing and damage. Remember, that's 7 times 1.5 for a 2-handed weapon for damage output. So instead of a longsword, one-handed, doing 7 points of extra damage with a strength of +7, with a strength of +7 on a 2-handed like our Great Axe or our ginormous Bastard Sword, I can do 7 plus 3.5, which is 10.5, rounded down to 10. So again, more damage. Always the same 4. Ignore. Fearless Rage, we'll come back to that. Ignore, maybe this. Ignore, maybe these 2. Why Fearless Rage? Again, immunity. I can't be shaken. I can't be scared. I'm no longer frightened. And again, if you don't think that's important, take someone that can move at 40, 50, 60 feet per round, Double that when she's scared, because she's gonna not attack. She's gonna move and then move again. She will fucking book her way down the hallway and trigger traps and do all kinds of other stupid shit. So this is an amazing ignore that problem. Other things that can be used to exploit this, we have spells. Spells can be cast through bad guys and good guys. Sometimes they will hurt the good guys. There's a fear spell that's not teammate friendly. It's a cone. If this is her and these are the bad guys in front of her, and I come up to here and hit the cone, I can hit this guy, this guy, and this guy, and her. She could be frightened. Not anymore. You see the appeal. Again, immunity is power. Never forget that. Go Barbarian. Get those up. Always the same four. Improve cleaving finish. Now this is what you were building for. Look at this monster. You need cleave, you need strength, you need power attack, great cleave, cleaving finish, and a base attack bonus of 6. This would be something that a fighter you get way before you. That's why it looks weird that it's level 13 when this is clearly achievable way sooner. Because a fighter gets a feat at every goddamn level. So that's why fighters can have this fun a lot sooner than you. Still, you want it. It's an amazing cleaving finish any number of times per round. What does that mean? We'll go back to cleaving finish and read it. If you melee a target and kill it, then you swing at another target within range. If you kill it, then you can swing it at, you get the idea. Just keep swinging until you either miss or don't kill the next target or run out of targets to kill. You cannot attack, and then go back and attack again, because it has to kill them for one, and you can only target the same opponent once. But again, you can make only one extra attack per round with this feat. Not anymore, baby. It's as many as you have guys around you. That's why having, again, the Bardiche, the Glaive, the Long Spear, the 6-foot range two-hander weapons is amazeballs for this, because this will just ruin their day, because you can reach so many guys. Again, enlarged person solves that problem for me. But take that Bardiche again, and then enlarged person. So what was the 6-foot range is now like 10-foot range. So you're even better. So while enlarged person kind of levels the playing field for me with my terrible great axe, it still would have been better with the Bardiche or the Glaive or the whatever. You get the idea. But look at that shit. That's on you to make the decision. I just happen to know there's really good great axes and I want one. Barbarian. Doing those things. Now, ignore, maybe, maybe. You want to be faster, you want to be tougher. It's a no-brainer. Indomitable Will, you got a better save against enchantments now. So those are like your confusions, your hold persons, and shit of that nature. It's a solid upgrade. More Barbarian. Yes, please. Now, what do we want here? Now, highly recommend that you improve the critical on that great axe. What does that mean? You don't have to rely on the weapon being a keen weapon. You can't make it keen yourself unless you have this improved critical feat. So a great axe normally crits on a 20. Now it crits on a 19 and 20 guaranteed. If it's a keen great axe, it doesn't do you any good. There's a way around that though, and I'll show you that here in a minute. Going. Strength always at this point. Same 4 always. Ignore, more damage. Lethal actually. There's our guy. Don't care what else is on the list. That's as soon as you can grab it, you're grabbing it. This increases your multiplier by 1. So if it's times 2, normal weapon is a times 2 on a crit. Now it's times 3. Our great axe is a times 3. So that means when you crit with it, now it's times 4 the damage. And again, only when you have the lethal accuracy or lethal stance on and are raging. But so what? That's your goal all the time anyway. Just massive damage output. And again, that's why we set ourselves up with a better crit chance beforehand. It all comes together. Going. More Barbarian. Now we get to have some fun, because we got all the feats we really give a shit about. So what are we going to do? Well, first off, this is how my game will differ from your game if you're playing this on the console. I'm going to grab a feat that you don't have called Spell Vulnerability. This is, again, because of my mod. Normally I would say grab Abjuration. You can do so too. -4 to your saves against any Abjuration spells. There's not many that are Abjuration saves. And you're susceptible to cold. She's a Barbarian. That's the exact opposite of what a Barbarian would tough out. So that's just dumb. I'm not going to do it. I'll say she's probably scared of ghosts. She's not particularly bright. Maybe she's scared of things. So why not Necromancy and Unholy? That may be a bad idea, but I'll play the type on that and take that penalty. That gives me 2 feats for the price of 1 bad feat. See that? So what are we going to do with those 2 feats? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take additional traits. Again, something you don't have in the vanilla version of the game. This is only available for people that have the mod, Eldritch Arcana. It's an amazing upgrade. Emotional drawback. I happen to know with her story arc that she's a guilty fraud. And you can pick, if you pick this at level 1, you would have gotten a magic weapon or a good weapon or something. And there's a variety of things you can pick from. I'm just going to say Great Axe. I don't particularly care. Doesn't matter because you're not getting it at level 1. They're not going to give you this weapon anymore. But they could have if you picked it up at level 1. But taking this emotion drawback will give you an extra trait. So now we have 3 traits to pick from. So what's our first trait? How about we go for something social like Adopted, Elven Reflexes, half elf, +2 initiative. Make sure she has a better chance to swing first. How about from there, for another trait, we go for combat trait and say, I like to be a berserker of the society. +3 additional rounds of rage a day. Now, that's not many, but again, by this time you have plenty anyway. But I'll take an extra 3. That shit's important. Remember, that's how we get our lethal stance running and all these cleaving bonuses besides. So let's do that shit. Then, for our last one, regional traits, how about we make ourselves extra zippy with Wanderlust. Another 10 to your movement speed. Boom! You're across the goddamn battlefield. You're the Flash. Now, because of our spell vulnerability, we have another feat to pick. Pick whatever you want. The obvious choices are armor focus for, say, medium armor, a +1 to your armor class. Maybe you want blind fight. Maybe you want dodge, solid choice. Maybe you just want extra rage and say, fuck it, I want another +6 to my rages a day. You can get another extra rage power, maybe get that increased damage reduction capped out a little sooner than later. Maybe you want to have, let's see, you get my point. I can recommend a variety of things. Dodge is another fine choice. Always scroll to the bottom. Sometimes they hide shit down there from you, so just always check. Nothing in here. Maybe you want another weapon focus in case that Great Axe ain't working. Hell, maybe you want to switch over to that Bastard Sword now. So get weapon focus Bastard Sword. Nothing wrong with that. Up to you. But at this point, it really doesn't much matter. Blind fight, dodge, whatever. Pick something. Keep going. 18 Barbarian. Same 2. Same 2. Now, ignore. Damage reduction. The last chance you can get it, because you can get it 3 times, right? Up to 3 times. This is our 3rd. Makes perfect sense that we're grabbing that now. 19 Barbarian. Last chance for a feat. What are you going to take? And again, doesn't much matter. What do you want? That extra armor? That extra dodge? Pick something. Run with it. There's very few wrong answers here. I would shy away from ranged stuff, though. You're not really a ranged attacker. Not that you can't. You're just not great at it. Last point in strength. Solid +8. Remember, that's a +8 to swing. With a 2-handed weapon like our Great Axe, like our ginormous sword, it's not +8 to damage. That's +12 to damage. That's nice. Go, and of course, that's because we're wearing the belt, by the way. See the +6 belt. Same 4. Always the same 4. Finish with solid stats on the 4 that you give a shit about. Ignore. Again, you want that single heal? Maybe you do now. Maybe you want to be super zippy. Sure, why not? Now, on this, notice if I switch over to the Great Axe, 19 to 20, that's the improved critical going for your favorite, because normally it crits on a 20. 19 to 20. Normal Great Axe crits on a ×3. Because of our lethal stance, if we have that in rage going and we crit, it'll be ×4. Solid damage besides, and this is a non-magic weapon. This is just a goddamn Great Axe. It's going to get better from here when you start adding magic to it, right? So, solid upgrade. Gear-wise, anything that buffs her strength, dex, and con are always appreciated. Obviously, you only get so much to those abilities, but a solid +6 across the board is pretty much what you're going to get. The best medium armor you can get, there's a variety of them. I'm just grabbed this one just because it's lightweight. But by and large, you get yourself chainmail, scale mail, hide armor. There's another one I'm missing. Oh, breastplate. One of the best ones out there is breastplate. So those are your 4 categories for medium armor. Find a good one and be happy with it. Every time you get another medium armor, check it to see if it's something that would be worth either keeping in your pack or just swapping out for this as an upgrade. So again, up to you. Stuff that gives her extra HP, extra armor, of course, is always appreciated. Extra Barbarian Rage is always appreciated. Anything that would key off of her Barbarian Rage, like a bonus, appreciated. Any immunities. We're already immune to fear, shaken. We're immune to nauseated and sickened. Make her immune to curses. Make her immune to energy drain. Make her immune to acid and fire, whatever. Give her some immunities. Immunity to poison. Give her immunity to whatever the hell you can give her immunity to with your gear. That's my goal. Give her the best great axes you can get, or whatever weapon you chose. And on that, let's actually show you those great axes. Bag of Tricks mod allows me to gift myself items as well. So this is how you can see what's in the game. Okay, go down to item search. Sorry, I should have said that first. Items and equipment. Go to your item search. Highlight all 4 of those, and then enable filters. Then shut off everything that's not weapon. Okay, go over here and type in great. It's a great axe. Search. Notice there's 101 great items in the game as far as weapons categories are concerned. If it's more than 100, it will not show it to you. So you need to be more specific. Say great axe. I know I spelled that wrong. It should be AXE, but it's not the point. Great axe. Search. Bam. Now here's your great axes. And I'm just going to grab the ones that have names. Mayhem, Lava Forged, Tempest, Frost Touch, Retribution, Eradicator, Extinguisher, Dragon's Essence. Keep going. We have Capital Punishment, Heat of Battle, Second Execution, Troll Reaper, Vanquisher, Destroyer, and a bunch of other ones besides. Again, these ones are not bad. Corrosive Great Axe +1 is a Corrosive Great Axe +1. A Keen Great Axe +2 is a solid choice. If you find it, use it. But check it against the name ones, because usually the name ones are the best. Now, I'm going to get rid of the generic one and show you a good one. We have Dragon's Essence, fine example. +5 Dragon Bane. Solid swing, solid damage, as you can see. And it's a Bane weapon. What does a Bane weapon do? We have several categories of Bane, but in this case it's a Dragon Bane. If you fight a dragon, it'll be a +2 better weapon. So increase this number by +2, each of them. Increase these numbers by +2, each of them. Then add another 2d6 of damage on top of that, because it's a Bane foe. So this number gets really, really ridiculous against a dragon, as you can see. Notice, it also allows you to turn into a goddamn dragon once a day as a 16th level wizard. That's something she can't normally do. That's pretty badass. Again, it's improved critical still works on it because it's a great axe. ×3 normally with your lethal stance on and your rage going on, that turns into ×4 when you hit. That's some solid dragon killing damage right there. And any other weapon or any other bad guy, not just dragon. Solid weapon. Don't like that one? Okay, how about we grab Troll Reaper. This is one you can get in Chapter 2 very quickly, probably around level 5 or 6. This is why I say that this would be the one that I'm being like, oh, this would be a good weapon for someone who can use it. How about Amiri? And that's why we make her the great axe person, because I already knew that was coming in the game. +1 weapon, not particularly amazing, but early on it's appreciated. And again, better swing than this goddamn monster. Why do I say that? Because this little master has a -2 penalty to it, because it's so goddamn big. It's not made for a person, it's made for a giant. That's why the great axe is better. See the 24 versus the 21, they're both +1 weapons. Why is there 3 points of difference? One, weapon focus, great axe, and then the -2 penalty is not there. That's why there's 3 points of difference. Okay, extra damage because it's acid to every target you hit, unless they're immune to acid or resistant to acid. They're taking extra damage. You will appreciate it. And again, 19 to 20 for the crit range, ×3 normally, ×4 when you have the lethal stance on and you're raging. Solid choice. And again, you can find that in Chapter 2 pretty fucking quick. Let's show you the best one. The one that once you find it, this will be her weapon from time immemorial. The Vanquisher. Look at this son of a bitch. Notice the damage went up to 45, not 35, like this guy. No, 45. Why? Look at the weapon. Extra 10 damage on every hit. Base, just add it to it. So it does this damage, plus 10 more, please. Yes, please. And it has a crit range of 19 to 20. Now, notice it's 17 to 20 here. Normally I said that you cannot improve critical a keen weapon. This is not a keen weapon. It's innately a 19 to 20. It doesn't say that it's keen. And if you did this and prove this to yourself, look, it really is a 17 to 20 weapon now. This is awesome. This is a crit fishing weapon for her now, technically speaking. There's only one category better, and that's the one that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. She doesn't have that. She only can crit 20% of the time. But it's a solid chance for her to crit and solid damage, and it hits everybody like a brick shit house with a solid +5 to its swing. It's just a mean son of a bitch. Hits hard. Now, downside is this weapon is only normally available at the end of the game, right around level 17, 18, 19, 20. But I know where it's at. I also know that you can get there around level 2 Chapter 2 or Chapter 3. You wouldn't send her in to get it. You would send in your main character. He or she would teleport in, kill this main boss off. They leave this weapon behind and a bunch of other kick-ass gear, and once you get this gear, you say, hey, Amiri, here's your weapon. And by then, she's probably only rocking the goddamn Troll Reaper. So she just went from this lame 24, 33 to 49 to 28 to 46 to 57. Now, yes, of course, this is the end of the build, but not my point. Point is, it's a solid upgrade, and it's a continual upgrade from that point on. She's just going to appreciate that weapon and just go to town. Again, solid build. Now, let's actually show you one thing in combat. We get mugged right here, like we always do. And I want to show you, hopefully she gets the initiative roll first.
Life ends here.
She did. So what we want to do is we want to be up front. Okay? We want everyone to be on us. And I want everyone to kind of backpedal the hell away. Hopefully they all jump on her. But yeah, they're not going to. Because, of course, they have to fuck with her. Lindsay, sing us a song. You can go over here, kid. I'm going to pull Harem over to here.
Me, Gorham!
Alright, well that was not what I was hoping for, but I'll take it. That was basically an attack of opportunity. They ignored Amiri, went to Harem. For whatever fucking reason, the game decided, no, not the one that's closest to me. Hit that guy who's fully armored up. She got so pissed that she critted. Just fuck you to the bad guy, man. Again, notice some stuff. So notice she's raging. We had that automatically turned on. So she raged immediately. It's on here right now, but she's raging, which is what that is there. And the lethal stance was always on. You leave it on. There's no reason not to. And power attack, leave that on from start to finish. Unless you're missing, but that's unlikely to be a problem with her. Notice the -6 to power attack, the +6 from lethal stance. Like I said, neutering itself out. Remember, that's not just +12 damage. She's two-weapon wielding, or two-handed wielding. So instead of +12, +18. That's an amazing bonus to your damage. No penalty to your swing because this cancels that. That's awesome. Weapon focus, inspired courage thanks to Lindsay, and that's only +1, can be much better by the end of the game. Strength bonus is probably pretty fucking solid right now. Maybe you can get that another point higher. Maybe 2, but that's about it. +5 weapon. Yeah, that's a solid choice. And of course, the best rage you got, +4. Solid swing. Solid damage. And again, the damage. Oh my God. 1d12 plus 50 times 4. Remember, not times 3. 4, because the lethal stance is on. And she's raging. 4 times the damage and just crushes it. And by the way, if you take the times 4 and you're having the problem like most people do, and you say, well, this is not divisible by 4. Now, without getting like a fraction, right? Yeah, that's not how times 4 works. What they do is they take this roll and they roll it 4 separate times. And they add them together. That's what you're seeing here. So it's 50 times 4. That you can trust is 200. The 14's coming from a 1d12, a 1d12, another 1d12, and another 1d12. All those added up equal to 14. So obviously she rolled shitty on that. That's why I say it doesn't much matter what the weapon does for damage. It's the pluses on the back end here. That's really the important part. And the crit. That's an amazing crit. Imagine doing that with every goddamn attack. Aaron, dress over here. Interesting. Okay. I'm trying to keep this doofus away from us. Hopefully it goes to Harem. Stop chasing my people. Fucking everyone wants to leave Miri alone. Anyway, I was going to try to show you the crit move that really allows you to fucking just screw them over in a big hogging circle. I guess it doesn't matter.
Repent.
Point is, you would have had fun with it. You basically just have them in a circle around you, and here, I'll show you. You have them in a circle around you. If you don't have improved cleaving finish yet, you can do cleave, but it's a single person attack. See that? You activate it. And then if there was another guy within range, you would hit the other guy. That's what cleave does. You don't have to do that once you get improved cleaving finish. You just attack, hope that you kill it. So target a weak opponent, I suggest. And then you'll swing at another one, because you'll kill the weak opponent and then hit the heavy opponent right next to him. So if there's like a boss fight, let's say you're fighting Harem and me, right? Wow. Amiri should come up here between the two of us, hit the weak guy, and hoping to kill him. And then since Harem's within range, it'll kill him and then swing at Harem. Now, it may not kill Harem, but it'll hurt him. So she'll get 2 attacks for the price of 1. You see what we just did there? This was a trick that we used to do back in old D&D days when we had something extremely similar. And what people would do was they would take a like a bag of holding, and we would have, no, actually not even a bag of holding, because you can't keep anything living in there. We'd have like a bag of rats, like just a sack filled with rats. And the fighter would throw it down on the ground at the start of every fight. All the rats would scatter, and he would swing at one rat so easy to hit that they would definitely get hit, and they were so low in hit points they would definitely die. And he would just swing in a fucking circle, just murder all the rats and all the bad guys besides. It's a cheap ass trick, but man was it fun. I'm gonna take you over to OLEDs. We'll try one last thing here before we call it quits. But by and large, she will be a solid character like this. Again, so close to vanilla version that you can actually adapt this for a vanilla version of the game. Just know you don't have the traits, and no, you don't have the what was that one feat? Oh, the spell vulnerability. So there you go. You wouldn't have this spell vulnerability. Of course, you wouldn't have the traits either. So basically, ignore this and this. Go right into blind fight and dodge. Other than that, everything else would be the same. There is, I don't think, a damn bit of difference between her and the vanilla version of the game. So that's the only things you would miss out on. Now, I'm not even going to take everybody over there. Look how zippy she is. See what I'm saying? She's goddamn sprinting son of a bitch. And again, this is what gets people to get her killed early. When they're not doing turn-based combat, they're doing real time with pause. They just take the whole team and they go point click, point click, point click, and she'll just power sprint ahead of everybody, kill that dude, and but be on him and his friends. And she's all up there all alone, and the next person that's coming up is Harem, and he's waddling his short little dwarven ass up there. And that's the problem. Yeah, piss off.
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Yeah. Alright, let me get it. They're gonna jump O-leg. Change turn. Change turn. Really? She rolled that badly? Wow, fuck you, game. Okay. Anyway, go to here. I should be within range of both of these dudes. So let's try it.
Tear them apart!
Nope. Not quite close enough. And again, this is why a reach weapon is better. 2-foot range versus a 6-foot range is a lot. So I probably would have been able to hit him with like a Vardish or a Clave. These guys are so close though now that she'll be able to do this. Watch. Come on. Okay. Come up here. Swing on the guy. See how both of them die? That's the improved cleaving finish working for you. Okay? It even tells you in the pop-up menu here. So basically I swung at the first dude, killed him with a solid 52 to the back of the melon. Just some solid damage. And then cleaving finish kicked off and hit the next dude. Notice it hit 2 guys though, which seems weird. Because it should only hit 1. One guy was already dead, and then there's only one other guy. But I think it back-to-back hit the same dude, the one that you already killed, and then went back to the guy that you hadn't killed yet. That seems weird. So it's glitchy. But it's, again, it's still, if there was multiple dudes within range, I could have hit more than 2 guys with that one swing is my point. And again, with the chance to crit on every last one of them. We didn't, but we could have. I mean, literally, on a crit fishing build where you literally have had that 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 chance to crit, you could really put out some damage with a two-handed weapon. But now there's not very many two-handed weapons that have that range. But notice something. If I... Let's take his shield to prove my point. Let's take off this crappy Troll Reaper and give her the shield from Harem and just a longsword. Okay, now watch this. She has... plus 20 to damage. Where's it coming from? 8's coming from her strength. 12 is coming from her power attack. How do I know that? Because power attack's -6. -6 to the swing. Double that and then make it a plus for the damage output for a one-handed weapon. So that's plus 12. So 12 and 8 is 20. That's your 20. It's not a magic weapon. Now, watch what happens when I take off the shield. Watch what happens to the 20. 30. Why? Because it's now considered a two-handed weapon. You can wield a one-handed weapon like a longsword as a two-handed, as long as you have nothing in the offhand. That's why a longsword is pretty sweet. Still a crappy crit range. I mean, yeah, it's good, but it's just as good as that badass weapon I have here. And it's even better because I got the improved critical. But if this was a keen longsword, it would be just as good as this 17 to 20 range is my point. Now, watch this. Give me my shield back. Take off that. Give me a rapier. Look at the crit range. 18 to 20, only times 2, so it's kind of lame. But again, 18 to 20. And it's a normal rapier. And again, plus 20 damage. Take away the shield, 30. So you can wield a rapier two-handed, is my point. So if I can wield it two-handed and I get that massive crit range, there's a lot of good rapiers in this game. Again, it's only a 2-foot range weapon. And again, I still like this motherfucker But it's up to you. If you wanted this, rapiers work, scimitars work, and there's plenty in the game. But again, rapiers and scimitars are usually better given to people that will wield them with either weapon finesse, because rapiers are finessable, as it says finesse wielding. Doesn't have to be, but it should be. Same with the scimitar. Is better for like a strength-based Eldritch Scion build, or a Magus, strength-based Magus build, because it's a high crit range and they like to crit fish all the time with their spells through the weapon. That doesn't mean she can't do it. So give her a scimitar, give her a rapier, but make it only one-handed. Do not give her a shield. There's plenty in the game. And again, she'll have fun with it. But make sure you get the improved critical for it so it goes from 15 to 20. And then she'll be critting left and right. Now again, the downside is it's only going to do 3 times the damage when she crits, versus this guy, which it did 4 times the damage. And again, you saw the appeal. 4 times was huge. And when that thing crits, and it lops a head off, and it kills the next guy, kills the next guy, kills the next guy, you can see you want one of the best DPS weapons out there in her little fingers. That's my take. Now, this video is definitely long enough. Still managed to keep it under an hour. Yay me. And that's all I really wanted to show you on this build. There's another one for her coming. That's going to be a modded version where I take her to level 0 and then make her a mad dog and bring her up. And probably even one more after that. But that's way down the pipe. But with that, my name is Brother Mew. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.